Mhm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming together here today with us, right? While cats are away, rats will play. So today, before getting into the Spirits book, I'm gonna ask you something. I have a friend, his name is Mr. Trivelato, Gilmar Trivelato. He is a spiritist from São Paulo. He lived in Belo Horizonte, and he took part in the spiritist movement here in Belo Horizonte for about 8 years, something like that. Very nice guy. And I met him because, let me tell you something, just some minutes of your patience. Have you ever heard of a book called 2000 Years Ago by Chico Xavier, right? Have you ever heard it? Yes. This book was a book that, and where Chico Xavier describes the story of his spirit guide 2000 years before, when his guide was or had been a consul or a senator of the Roman Empire. Okay, the book is there, and the book was psychographed in 1947 in a time that Chico Xavier didn't even have a public library in his town, Pedro Leopoldo. And after Chico Xavier passed away, right, many people started questioning his books and questioning his novels, like this one, which is a book made in the shape of a novel. And because of this, some guys in the United States, they got in touch with us saying, "Luis Sergio, we are translating the book 2000 years ago into English, but we'd like you to help us in a historical research about the book." So we did. I started, Lida was one of the person that was going to do the research, but she was very busy at that time. She passed it on to me, and I did the research together with a friend of mine here in Belo Horizonte. He's a public defender, is a lawyer, and a spiritist writer today too. And while we did this, we went doing this research and passing the information to the people of the United States, people started getting emotional and very pleased because it was very difficult, really difficult for Chico Xavier to access that kind of information in his time, in his town at that time, in Brazil at that moment, right? So he published the book, but it's another story. There was a confusing situation with the Spiritist Federation. The guy from the United States didn't obey some rules, and the FBI burned the books.
Oh,
yes, I have the image of FBI burning the books. Look at, and I had predicted that. I said, look, pay attention to what I'm going to say. I think I was inspired by Spirit. I said to him, you're going to publish a book in which you show Jesus Christ speaking something that is not in the Bible. So there will be resistance for that and things like that. Okay, but the point is the book was going to be published, right? Put out with a very serious scientific research about the facts that are in the book, right? We got about 90 points that coincide with what historians say. And it was crazy. It was very nice.
In detail.
In details, right? Details of the Roman day-to-day or everyday situation 2000 years ago. Well, after that, this research couldn't be published because if we publish this research, we can be fined $150,000. So, right.
Can you show the cover?
Yeah, I think we can show the cover of the book. Yeah. but why am I saying this? Because this friend of mine that I invited to be here today, he's just told me now that he won't be able to come today because he has another meeting, and he thought it was a little bit late today. But next week he intends to come to see us. This was the book.
what is the name of it?
2000 years ago, Francisco Cândido Xavier.
Uh-huh.
Yes, this is it is about the story about the Jesus Christ time, right? Because the senator was one of the guys who were in the board of judges who judged Jesus, right? Who today,
It's already translated.
it's
The
already
senator-
translated into English,
Yeah.
yes.
This
Not
senator,
this-
no, which
not-
senator was this? Do you have the name of the senator?
Is Publius Lentulus.
Publius
Lentulus.
Lentulus. Mhm.
Yes, and then yes, there is this book in English now, but without the research. Look, there's a booklet at the end of the book, which with our research, right?
Okay, no.
A thick book here. This is there is the historic research about the facts in the book. So this is crazy, very, very nice. The book you're gonna read, there isn't this research. Because I said to him, look, if you publish this in the United States, if you publish a book like this in the United States, people you think is kind of figment of the imagination of the medium, right? So it's something that, but when you see that the facts are, there are lots of footnotes here, many footnotes during the book, the book, he got a guy to illustrate the book too. They went spent a lot of money in that, on that project, but it didn't work, right? Because there was a problem with the Brazilian Federation.
Maybe there isn't the Amazon.
They're in the Amazon, yes, you can find Amazon.com. 2,000 years ago, Francisco Cândido Xavier, not Chico Xavier, I have to say Francisco Cândido Xavier. I'm going to write it down here. Because Chico is a big name.
Xavier. Let me check.
Yes.
And
Well, but why am I saying it? Because the Brazilian Spiritist Federation got very interested in this kind of research and came to talk to me and Marco Paulo about doing the same kind of research for the book Renunciation. But the book Renunciation is the story about a woman, a very, very good woman called Alcyone, and she lived in the 1700s, the 17th century, I mean, in France and in Spain. So with the help of some people, this guy Gilmar, this guy that I invited to be here next week with us, he is a chemical engineer. I'm going to show you here a little bit of his profile, right? Take a look, because I recorded a video because I'm going to show him on my channel, Spirit Connections, right? And I think he'll be here. I'm going to show you for his a little bit of his profile. Let's see. I'm going to share now.
Dr. Trivelato holds a bachelor's degree in chemistry and a master's degree in didactics from the University of Sao Paulo. He has also a doctor's degree in sanitation, environment, and water resources from the engineering department at the Federal University of Minas Gerais. He's currently a titular researcher and professor at Fundacentro, and a consultant for the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, aiming at the implementation of the globally harmonized system. He's also a lecturer in the Spiritist field, having given presentations in Brazil, Europe, and the US about various subjects related to spirituality.
So he's very involved in this kind of stuff and spirituality then, and he is very knowledgeable. Of course, I don't think we should be worried about him, because although he is from academia, he's very academic guy, right? He works even for the United Nations, but he's very open-minded, and I think he can help. I don't know if he's going to stay here. I say, take a look, because maybe he was a little bit afraid of English, right? So, well, whatever, is everything in English? Yes, everything is in English, because everybody there, most of them, and the work is for the English people, English-speaking people, right? And then the next week, he said he'll come in. Okay, Josephine, what do you want to say?
I just want to show you, I put in the link, but that would be the book.
Renunciation.
Oh, that's
2,000 years ago, yeah. It's
That's
the new
the
personnel.
book Chico Xavier wrote and have all those history information, not he's a teacher, right, Luis?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's a
That's-
university
you can find it
professor.
on.
Yes, but then they asked her. So I used to work in a Spiritist center here in Belo, and Livy and I worked there, and we had lots. We had 14 people, as far as I remember, 14 young people from architects to people with knowledge in languages and history, historians, to help with Trivelato in that research, right? And we did this. And there was a girl in Spain doing the research in Spain, and he himself, sponsored by, I think he was sponsored by Federation, Spiritist Federation in Brazil. He went to France and he brought lots of very interesting information, because there's some information in the book that you cannot find.
Yeah.
For example, let's say the Notre Dame Cathedral there was a kind of flight of stairs in front of the cathedral. There isn't this thing, but in the past there was, right? So there are lots of information in the book that you cannot recognize today. But when he went to France and he got a very beautiful map from 1672, I think this map was. It was amazing how the information Chico Xavier received matched the historic information.
And there's a lot of historical information because the book occurs in Europe, France, Spain, Ireland, and United States.
United States too, right? In Connecticut, right? For example, there was a piece of information that people were, some priests, Catholic priests were helping people grow tobacco in Connecticut. There was no information about that, but there was a guide who combed through the very thin information about that and got the information that there were these groups that at that time grew tobacco in Connecticut. So this is the mediumship of Chico Xavier that we really find so amazing, right? About the book. And I think it's good because he's going to talk to us about the method, the criterion, the academic criterion he uses to research for the data in the book. And these books are wonderful, right? If you want to read this 2000 years ago, you will understand how things happen in the past, right? Yeah, very good. That's it, guys. With no further ado, let's get into the Spiritist book, the Spirits book, I mean now. And let's see where I got the the book. Let's see. It's Kardec's, we are at Wikipedia, right? Okay.
You open the link I sent to you, Luis.
I think I had open. Let me find it now. Just a minute.
Sure.
You open, yeah, it's over there.
You again.
Okay, no, it's all right. I can get it from the chat box. Cardipedia, yes. I got it again. It was because it was on Edge, not on Google Chrome. Okay, it's here now. It's units at it's question 693. Is it?
Yeah, you should. Can you share your screen so everybody?
The screen now.
Mhm.
Is it the one? I think she
Yes,
does
let
like
me advise you something. Go to book 3, click in book 3, moral laws.
okay. It's not in the right place.
And no, click in book 3. Let me show you what Anna showed me yesterday.
Book 3, chapter 3 about moral laws.
No, and go to law of reproduction. That's where we
Law of reproduction. Where is it? Equality, progress. I cannot find reproduction here.
No, it was before. Okay, go down, scroll down. Okay, I just saw.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
okay, I need you, yeah.
Down.
Go down, scroll or stop, go up
Okay.
one, yeah, click there, wait, click there. Yes, go to the population of globe, click there.
Population of globe.
Yeah,
6,
and now click in the 686.
86. Is it one?
No, it was not that one.
I think we were there in
92.
1960, 692, 93. I think that was the one, wasn't it, people? And I don't know how to get there now. Let me
Sorry,
see here.
everybody, we got lost without Allan.
I think
I
we
think
were
we
in
are here. Look.
693,
Obstacle to
Marilpa.
reproduction.
Luis, I think you're right. 693.
Obstacle to reproduction. Yeah, click it.
Yes, here.
Now, Luis, click the 693 because
Here,
then
693.
yeah, but click on the 693.
Okay, so
Click there. Yeah, because now you can scroll down on the screen so you can see. Now you can go next, like Yana does. You see?
okay.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Last of
All right then. So and now you were the last one to speak, Josie. You can read the answer to the question, please.
Yes, I can. I like that. Okay, 694. What should we think of contraceptive methods created solely to satisfy sexual desires? They prove the power of the body over the soul and show how deeply human. Oh, that's the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, no, sorry, so I should not. Okay, what should we think of contraceptive methods created solely to satisfy sexual desires?
I think this one we can go straight to the answer because it's so short and we can discuss the answer in a row. What do you think?
They prove the power of the body of the soul and show how deeply human beings have become immersed in their material existence.
Yes, right. Yeah, it's a very powerful power from the body over the soul, right? What would you like to say about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, I just find that that was the church's position from the beginning, that you should have sex only to produce children.
Do you
And
think
that for me is a very narrow way of looking at things.
Yes, indeed, right, indeed.
And I think that's man-made.
Yeah, I agree too, right? Because and the spirits agree with you too, right? And they're saying this, of course, the contraceptive methods, of course, they bring us they open the door for us to go deep into sexuality in a way that sometimes is very imbalancing, do you understand? Because sexual energy, as we have learned, is something very powerful. It can create another body. And the point is not prohibition, not kind of regulation, but wisdom, to use that energy just like we use nuclear energy. When you go into a nuclear power plant, you have to behave as if it was a very sacred place, because everything must be very careful, because it's a very powerful energy. The mistakes of our society nowadays is that we just deal with that as if it's nothing. We just play with fire. Fire is good, fire is beautiful, and fire can create lots of good work. But if we're not wise enough to work with that, things we can go really bad. I think that's what I think the spirits usually say about that. Any other comment, people?
Josie.
Josie is there, sorry.
Yes, exactly what I was saying, but as well, like everything with moderation and the reason, like if I marry with Tim, we already have 2 kids or 3 kids, or we don't decide not to have kids. There is nothing prohibited about you have contraception or take the contraception, right? To avoid, and because even like if everybody has kids, I think the human being would populate the world so much, so more would be a concern as well. So
yes,
balance in
yes, I think one of the key points of the question is methods created solely to satisfy sexual desires, nothing else, which was not right. Many times you use methods to create a kind of a balance in families, harmony in relationships too. But there are people, of course, that may use only for this reason, and this can bring some mental impairment, some disturbance in your mind, of course, if you're just delving into pleasure and nothing else. Because as Socrates used to say, when you start scratching because your skin is itching, it's pleasurable. But if you go on and on and on and on, it will be bleeding in a minute, you know, just like that. You know, you need to know how to refrain that. I think it was Lida, please.
I totally agree with the not being in the extreme, not being with the church, like that sex will be only for reproduction, and not being as well totally open to it, because it can really harm people if you start treating your sexuality like it's nothing. Then you'll be able to harm so many people and cause a lot of damage. But also, I think that the contraceptive methods, they changed the world completely, because now families are able to plan the education of their children. And like Josie said, we can decide if we're going to have one child, two children, or more. And that reflects on us having a better society. But we cannot think that this power is absolute, like, because we know we are in a spiritist meeting, so we know that sometimes, most of the times, when a spirit comes to earth, there is a planning on the other side, and they choose the best home for the spirit. They choose a whole plan to make the social environment develop. So to make amends on who harmed who, and so we should always take in consideration that there are more to a pregnancy that we can see. There is so much more than we can see. So it's not just our decision as women, because sometimes people get so radical on these things, and we have to establish that there are so much more in the other side. I don't know if that's clear. Sorry.
So I think, yeah, it's all right. Maria? Thank you, Leda.
I live near a community with a few financial reserves. And I see many mothers with 40 or 50 years in the streets with their babies. I think that is hooked on the side of their bars. That's right, Luiz?
Didn't get it, Megan.
As crianças enganchadas nas cadeiras. How I can say it in English?
Hooked to the chairs.
No, in his belly.
In their bellies.
Yes, hooked to the side of their bellies.
Okay.
Right?
Babies in their bellies, yes.
Walking the street.
Walking in the street, yes.
Yes, it's like a children take caring another children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think with my mind, what are going on to it happens nowadays.
Makes it happen.
Yes. Why these children, the mother children, are not in the schools? Where is the fathers that that is not present in the life of our sons?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a very big problem.
Yes.
We need to think about the contraceptive methods, not about to have entering an active sex life without preparation, without information for their homes, to school, and the society. We need to think about it like, how I can say, remendo de pano novo em pano velho. How I can say it in English?
Oh my goodness. No.
Like curativo. How can I say it?
Making amends. Making amends.
Yes.
Make amends. But it's amends is better to see mother children taking care for babies.
Yeah, look, this subject, people, I'm going to stop sharing a little bit because I'd like to see it more. This subject is so delicate, it's so difficult to talk about, because let's see the mind of someone like Chico Xavier. Chico Xavier was talking to people, I think it was in the media, in the press, and people, Chico, what about these mothers that have children, bear their children in the very, very hard, difficult conditions? And they say, oh, it's a blessing. Really? Yes, because they clean the lower zones.
Yes.
These reincarnation clean the lower zones.
Yes.
And it's charity. Wow, then my goodness. I remember Mother Teresa of Calcutta when she was in the place where lots of people were sick. I think it was the shelter of dying people. And an American reporter comes up to Mother Teresa and said, Mother, how can this kind of thing happen? How are these people suffering? How can these people suffer that much? And she said, they already can. Gloria, look at Gloria. What?
What?
Look, Chico Xavier said the same. Said they already have the capacity of going through the ordeals they need to clean them up for them to go high up when they go high. Understand? Because we usually pay in installments, right? The weaker we are, the more we need installments to pay for our debts. But it makes us kind of a little bit sad because I have a mild life, but suppose, because the problem is, let's talk about physics here. Your position in the spirit realms will be compliance with the position or the weight of your perispirit, the physical weight of your perispirit. No matter what you did here, but if you didn't clean yourself of some kinds of behavior, you will be as heavy, and some kinds of karma, you will be as heavy as it gets, because you want to go when you, okay, I'm here in the spirit realms and this is not a very good place, this is not a very beautiful place, I'd like to go higher. Okay, so you're gonna reincarnate to clean away, to wash away those residues from your bad doing in relation to other reincarnations, now that you are conscious that there is incarnation. If you're not, it doesn't even happen. But then you say, some guy said, oh, I want to clean everything in one reincarnation. Oh, come on, guy. If you do this, you have all kinds of sickness, you have all kinds of problems. I want. Are you sure? I want to. And if the guy, the mentor thinks, okay, I think you have to, so you'll be born in India, you'll be born in Calcutta, and the only consolation for you will be a Catholic nun, all right? Okay, right? Jumped into it. That's why Mother Teresa said, they already can. They are able to do that, right? That's why they are suffering so much. They want to clean it at once, right? And then after they go, they never come back. Because look, people.
Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah, some of them only, because when you are not capable of that, you're a spirit guide. Well, there's some spirit guides that say, guys, so you are very funny when you come down here, or come back here to the spirit realm. You repent, you regret, and say, no, I want to go back and I want to suffer. I want to go through this and this and that. And they say, no, go medium. No need to go blind or handicapped, or go median and see what you do with it. So, Josephine.
It's interesting about that. You see a lot of books, spiritual books, saying that usually when you're in the spiritual world, you kind of forget how hard it's being in earth, right? Incarnate. So you make, when you are programming your reincarnation, you just like, oh, I want to solve for everything, as Luis is saying. So usually, let's think you make a contract. So the person who is going to be your guide in this life came and cut like 80%. Like, okay, let's do 20% of all this sulfur or whatever we want to clean, because we're going to fail. Because then we just think, oh, I can do everything. So usually your guide really helps you and say, no, cut, no, let's just go easy and go slow step by step.
Yeah, they do usually say this. Thank you,
Yes.
Joseph.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think you're going to speak first.
Yeah, I will talk later.
All right.
Yeah, it's I'm always don't accept when somebody says, this is what it is. Because again, when somebody, as I think, you make an agreement of what you want to do when you are coming on in this incarnation, and then you see at the end of it whether you actually fulfill your contract or not.
Yes.
And I'm going to suggest that most people do not. There will be some, I guess. And I am constrained to think that one of the people who did not forget his mission was Jesus. If you think of him at age 12, when he was visiting Jerusalem and going home, his parents can't find him, so they had to go back to Jerusalem to look for him. Then they found him after 3 days in the temple with the doctors and lawyers, amazing them with his intelligence. And so his mother said to him, why did you do this to us? We've been really searching for you, very worried. And so the child says, why were you looking for me, mother? Didn't you know that I would be in my father's house and on his business?
Yeah. That's it. Crazy.
So this was thing, and we told her she was amazed at the answer. But this is what I'm saying, and that when you leave this, you judge yourself. Nobody is judging you.
Yeah.
You judge yourself to know, oops, did I make it or not?
Everything happens inside your own consciousness.
Exactly.
No trials, yes. You're right. I believe that too. The spirits usually say that too. Thank you, Hyacinth, for this beautiful appointment. Maria?
When you are talking about it, you reminded me of a funny quote by Chico Xavier. He was asked about this in one of the quotes of the avocado tree, because he used it to do this quote next to one, which he did with we needed population of Uberaba, the city where he lived. And they said, while the rich take more breaks, the poor make menos pausa. I don't know how to speak it in English.
Fewer breaks.
Yes.
Fewer breaks.
And to explain that is all included in normality of the earth in nowadays.
Very interesting. And Giles, don't you want to speak a little bit? Because I think you posted something in the chat box. Or is your microphone with a problem?
No problem with the microphone. No, it's it's very difficult to talk about an individual incarnation, because if we have thousands of incarnations, on one count there was 50,000 of them to fill the human experience, then at the beginning we are much better than animals. And in the middle, after 20,000 incarnations, now we start to realize that love and generosity is the right thing, not selfishness. And by the end, now we're doing incarnations in order to serve people. We know that somebody needs some help down there, and we're going to incarnate because we'll do the duty as their child. And this is why often when children die young, this is what they've incarnated for, to help the parents. So we never know. I mean, there are great masters that can look at somebody and know what their situation is. But so we can't pretend to know that. All we know is that there are differences. Some people are more advanced and wiser because of more incarnations. They're not done yet, because otherwise they wouldn't be here. And then there's the beginners, and you want to steer clear of the beginners because you find them in bars and in dirty alleyways and in unpleasant places, and sometimes in 5-star hotels. And then you want to steer clear of them equally, because you're not going to be able to tell them anything. Sorry, one size does not fit all, is what I'm saying.
Thank you, Giles. Thank you. Josie.
Yeah, now I want to say, Giles, it's absolutely correct. And Chico Xavier could do it. He could see somebody and say exactly what the last incarnation, what the contract was. Most of us cannot, the mediums can, but they say in the regenerational world, probably we will know, we will have more knowledge, right, Luis and Maria, that those things are going to not be so hiding from us that much anymore. So it's going to be an interesting time.
And that happens so much. I remember once Chico Xavier, this guy wrote a book. His name was, what's the name of the guy that could get para Europa no teatro? Wallace Rodrigues. He was a guy, spiritist guy from Minas Gerais, and he was very keen on theater. He was an actor or a director, I forgot. And one day he received a scholarship to study in Romania, which was one of the centers of theaters in the world by that time. And he was brave enough to go to a seance with Chico Xavier one of these days, right? But he was thinking, he was shut up, just like Giles was shut up here today. He didn't want to speak on the microphone, nothing. And at the end of the seance, he said, well, Chico didn't say anything to me. I think I can leave this place peacefully because, right, no message, because I'm going to Romania. And suddenly when he's leaving the place, Wallace, he froze. Oh, Chico, are you leaving without saying hello? No, just because you know all of people around you, you know, all these people. I say, look, Emmanuel said that if he were you, he wouldn't go. Imagine that. And he didn't. He didn't go. And there was the kind of iron curtain in the countries of the Soviet Union, and he would live a process of exile, of being exiled again, just like had happened another reincarnation with him, and Chico had shown this reincarnation to him, where he had a political problem, that he was isolated in the same place. So it's something interesting how he could see your past and give the right, instruction for the future. Josie.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I didn't met Chico Xavier, unfortunately, even I live so close to his house. But
Mhm.
anyway, everybody who met him said when Chico say, if I were you, I would not do that. Just do it. just
No, yes, yes. But and look, okay, Giles, go on. Thank you, Josie.
There's a story which is really worth telling because it's Satya Sai Baba, who is a well-known Indian teacher and master, clearly pretty high up. And one day he was giving his darshan to the usual 1,000 people that turned up every day. And he walked past a mother with a child, and both of them were in really bad shape. I've told this story before, but it's worth repeating. And he looked at them and did nothing and kept going. And later, when he was giving private meetings to people, somebody said, I saw you walk past that mother and child who are clearly in a real mess, and you did nothing. Ah, he said, I've got a question for you. I know that in their previous incarnations, they were a bailiff and a judge, and they spent 40 years making people's life hell to try and enrich themselves. And they are trying to atone for it right now with this incarnation. Therefore, what would you have done? And of course, that silenced the questioner. Sorry.
Can I add something on that? Oh, sorry, Heisen.
No, go ahead, Judy.
I think we always can be compassion, and if you see a situation like that, even if you know, if you feel in your heart you would like to help, I think you would be doing a good thing. Of course, they understand, right?
I understand what's your point, Joseph. Yes, I think the point is, before Haising speaks, the point is these guys, many times they have the instruction from the other side, and the instruction maybe that he received was not to help. But when you don't have the instruction, you'd better help. You understand? When you don't have the information, because if you can, I think it's because of karma, maybe it's not. It's just because a test that the person is going through, or you are going through a test to know if you can help. So when it comes to these kind of mediums like Chico Xavier and Satya Sai Baba, I think things are different parameter in terms of, that's what Giles said.
For example, I remember once he gave some money to
a drunken man.
And a woman asked him, why are you giving money? You buy more.
You drink more,
Chico. Chico gave him money to buy more liquor. And he answered, he said, well, he needs to drink more because when he drinks more, he sleeps in the room on the street. If he doesn't drink, he goes home and
he beats his wife. He spanks his wife.
Yeah, it's better he drinks more.
So Chico gave him more money for him to drink more and sleep on the street. You know? So how can you? Okay, I see.
Yes, it's again another story of Jesus. When the people asked him, why was this man born blind? Whose fault was it? Was it his father's or his mother's? And Jesus said, it was no fault. It was to teach you compassion.
See?
And there's a lot of morality plays, and there is one where, again, somebody chose to come as a beggar, again, so that people would learn to have compassion. So that there are all sorts of things going on.
Very good example, Heisen. Very good example, because you illustrates exactly what I was saying. You know, when Jesus Christ, these people they get in touch with the causes, the profound causes. Their attitude, their behavior is very difficult for us to understand at first. When we don't have that kind of illustration, that kind of knowledge, you'd better help or do your best, right? And then because you won't fall into the situation of not showing compassion. Okay, thank you, Haisine. Gloria, next.
Unmute myself here. A couple of things. I have a lot of friends, grown children. Now I have grown grandchildren. And I've always had this inclination to fix things for the people I care about. And it was brought to my attention numerous times that I really need to look at that it's not always compassion, that sometimes it's me wanting to fix things, and that I should allow these people to have the experience they've created for themselves. Because it's important for them to have the experience that they've created for themselves. And so I'm trying it's difficult for me. I'll see somebody going through something and it's obvious to me how it can be fixed. And I'm really giving a lot of consideration to stepping back from that and letting them figure it out for themselves if they do. And if they don't, for me not to lose any sleep or suffer about it, because that's their experience.
Yes.
And that has been a challenge for me because I'm a fixer.
I see. It's very interesting. Well, I think the point is trying to not to intervene in a very adamant way, to understand. You just give the resource. Look, I've been through that pathways. I've seen people going through that pathway, and the consequences were this, this, and this. It's up to you. This is something, right? But when you want to really go and intervene and get in the way, and now you can, yes, be getting in the way. That's okay.
I don't have the abilities of a Chico, and so I'm not aware of what they're here to learn. I just see that they're struggling with something, and it's real obvious how to fix it, but that's their path. It's their lesson, and it has taken me a long time to learn to step back from that and just be an observer, and to offer encouragement and support and not fix it.
But let me tell you something, Gloria. This thought of yours, in my opinion, and I can feel it, is a result of wisdom that comes from prayer and your studies, right? So it clarifies your mind, because Emmanuel, the Chico Xavier, I read about lots of books by him, and he says, prayer won't fix the problem, but prayer will shed light on everything around you for you to know exactly what to do, not to do, where to go, not to go. I think that's happening to you. This is very good. Thank you, Gloria. Josie.
Now I want to talk to Gloria. Gloria, I think like it's very honorable. You want to help and you should keep it doing. Just don't expect they will accept. And they just accept that you are going to save them because they need to save themselves. So I think keeping doing it. If I were me, I would, because I'm a little bit like that, we can tell we are a little controlling for sure, but we want to help. And what I do now, I learned to do is I help, I give my compassion, I'm here, but I don't expect that they're going to listen to me or I'm going to help at all because depend on them. So just do this.
Okay, thank you, Josie Jaising.
What I understand, again, from the Ascended Masters, is that there is free will, and everybody, even Jesus himself, Mary, all of these, they know you have free will. I may not go in and do it because I see that it needs doing. Therefore, we ask, we pray, please help me. Then they can respond to your prayer to help. So I would suggest, Gloria, that that is your natural ability and from your heart's desire to help. I would simply say to the person, I'm here for you if you want to talk.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good advice, yes. Right. Or if the consequences, the bad ones came, I have a shoulder you can cry on, right?
Yeah.
That's
so that
it.
you're showing the sympathy, but you're
Mhm.
not taking over and doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and one thing, you cannot save, I'm gonna say, I have that in my mind. We cannot save who doesn't want to be saved.
Yes,
Person
indeed.
needs to do, the path is individual. And yeah.
Yes. Well, guys, before we go today, it's about 10 minutes to go, right? I'd like to speak to Art and Annie. You're so shut up these days, Vladimir. I'd like to hear some from people. How about you, Annie, ladies first, right? How's it going there in Canada? The big hot weather, the beaches, right? Annie?
Sorry, I had to unmute.
Okay.
Everything's going well.
Thank God, right?
Thank God.
No, there we go. Yes.
And we really miss you last Saturday.
Come on, Annie, that's not nearly enough. More. Everything's going well. Hey, come on.
Everything.
Let
Thank
me
you.
What, do
see.
I have to give you a whiskey to make you drink? I mean, to make you talk?
Let me see. Gosh. The grass is green here now. The trees have leaves. It is supposed to snow on Friday.
Sweetheart, about you.
Oh,
You're among friends. You're among friends. Okay? Nobody is going to criticize you.
you know, I'm really not that exciting of a person. So I'm just don't really have a lot to tell you.
Mhm. Oh, that's okay. Maybe you're in a good mood, right? In the good ways. And I hope you keep like that, right? But anyway, whenever you want to talk, just raise your hand.
And
I will.
Annie, we feel your support. We feel your feelings.
Yeah.
You're very, very important for the group.
Yes, you are. I know
fine.
this. I know this. Okay, so Art, now it's your turn. It's muted, Anya.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you were talking about helping others, I was reminded of the section in OWASP that talks about, it says prayers are fine, but go do something yourself to help if possible.
Oh, yes. To give something from you. Yeah, that's it. It's such an important thing to do. Okay, guys.
All right, Art, I'm going to have to meet you in the afterlife and have a discussion about a few things.
Okay, I'm looking forward to being in the afterlife.
Yes, I know. And we can plan to stay there for 200 years until we're so bored that we have to reincarnate again. Come on, that is always the reason for a reincarnation, which is boredom. When you've seen all the movies, read all the books, talked to all the celebrities you want to, done all the things that you think you should do, traveled around the universe.
No, Jazz, we won't agree on that. It's not boredom.
Okay, but then you you start doing it all over again and you say, no, I'm ready for another incursion. So, Hyacinth, I'm not talking about first timers. I'm talking about people who are
I know, but I
halfway or three-quarters, which is what most of us are.
You said that God was bored, so he made people. So I'm just saying, no, I don't think it's boredom. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. That is so right.
I'll be looking for you two guys there too, right? No problem. I'll find you. Okay, guys, let me see now. Vladimir, would you like to say something I translate into English before we go?
I want to say something about Vladimir. Vladimir, we really want him here in Houston, and he's a very interesting medium because he can speak almost every language when he is in channeling. It's correct, Vladimir?
Xenoglossic.
It would be amazing if you come here and start speaking English. I want to see that.
Acho que meu som ficou mudo aqui.
No, you can hear you.
Né? Então,
And
a Josi estava falando aí a respeito da xenoglossia, para falar algo a respeito, não?
yeah, Josie was speaking about xenoglossy, and you want to talk whatever you can. Você pode falar qualquer coisa.
Mas sobre o quê? Sobre a xenoglossia?
Como é que você está gostando do grupo? Qualquer coisa que você quiser.
Sim. Não, eu estou achando o grupo sensacional. Pena que eu não falo o inglês, né?
Yeah, he finds the group sensational. Pity he doesn't speak English.
He loves being in the group and
apesar de compreender, né?
Although he understands.
Good.
Igual eu falei, em bloco, né? Não é a minha compreensão em bloco.
As a whole, yes. He understands
entendo,
as a whole, yeah.
Entendo a mensagem, mas eu acho que o grupo tá bacana, muito unido, energia muito boa.
Very good energy for the group, yeah.
Pessoas interessadas mesmo, né? A gente vê
Interested people.
que isso parte do coração mesmo. E que esse é o segredo do sucesso para o grupo mesmo, né?
Yeah, so the secret of the success of the group, in his opinion, this thing that comes from the heart. Yes.
Vladimir, you look like an intellectual. What's your field? What do you study?
A lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
Law. Oh my. Okay, we all have to take a step back.
We have two lawyers here, Vladimir and Leda, right? And after we
Josie também.
Josie.
I used to be. I'm not a lawyer anymore. I'm an IT person. I'm a data analyst now. Totally changed.
Well, Vladimir, for example, and Leda, sometimes when we meet together on Zoom here, we made fun of them because their name was Leda Moraes Garcia Assunção Cunha Bragança and Vladimir Figueiredo Gonçalves.
Not anymore. Look that.
Look,
not anymore.
Your name is the whole screen just because you're a lawyer. And then now the name is short, like Leda Moraes and Vladimir Figueiredo.
We listen to you, Luis.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because lawyers in Brazil, they have this, they are very formal guys. They speak very formally. Yeah. So, but they are healing, right?
I have one thing that I want to remind everybody before we go, which is that all stories have happy endings.
That's it.
All stories have happy endings. If it's not happy right now, it's not over.
That's it. True. Wow, beautiful.
All stories have happy endings, and that's something that we need to remind ourselves at 3 a.m. when we're worried about the rent or getting fired or our leg falling off or whatever it is. No, dying is stepping through a doorway, Carol, and then the stories continue. So it's not over until it's over, but they all have happy endings, even if it takes a couple of incarnations. Come on.
This is a prayer. This is a prayer for our ending today, people. Thank you so much. Right, for this, if anybody wants to add in anything, just let us know. But I enjoyed being here with you again, right? And this was Giles' sentence, or Giles' speech was very nice for the end of our meeting today. Have a great week, okay, guys? Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. Everybody be safe.
Bye. Have a nice week, everybody.
Yes. You start recording, right?
Okay.
Right. And please give Anna a